Got my serious camo on because tomorrow starts the big first step in a journey that I've been following for 43 years for my Miami Dolphins and as a football lover. Now, this is the time that I'm really starting to get excited and smile. My wife, not so much, because I'm going to get my grubby little hands on tape tomorrow and be able to watch it and analyze it and maybe even overanalyze it. But that's what I love to do. And we're going to get our first real view of the Miami Dolphins. Not hearsay, not other people's views of things and quick little snippets. We're going to get chunks for us to watch and to look over. And I'm going to cut lots of that tape up and do a lot of film studies on what we see because there's so much for us to keep our eyes on. Now, some people mistakenly say preseason games mean nothing. Other people think it means the world. It's somewhere in the middle. Now, you can't judge a team, a whole side of the ball, even really units for the most part. But individual players meeting in a competitive environment, you can analyze and pick up a lot from what you see. Now, I'm going to go over the keys for what I see as what I'm going to keep my eyes on and maybe that you should keep your eyes on. And then hopefully I'll get some comments from you guys. So maybe I'm missing something and I can keep my eyes on something that I missed. But I'm going to basically go over the entire scene for the Miami Dolphins. And what I see is the keys for the staff, offense, and defense, with little tidbits at the end. Now, I really try to trim these things down and make them go real quick, because some people like it long, some people like it short, some people like it in the middle, so I kind of went to the middle. But now with this chapter thing, I'm really going to try to dial in the best I can. And if I go on too long about something and my German side comes out and I'm digging too long into something, you can just go right to the next chapter. But this way, I can cover every base and serve all the different viewers who have different styles and like different stuff. So I'm going to have 4 chapters today, okay? And the tech guys are going to throw it in there, and you'll be able to navigate your way through. Coaching keys, offensive keys, defensive keys, and tidbits at the end. Before I do that, you know how I roll. I want to say thank you all for stopping by. I really appreciate it, for the likes, subscribes, the comments, the views, especially the comments. And I also want to give a quick shout out to my sponsors, Ace Per Head, because without them, this show that I'm starting to really love to do would not happen, just like it wouldn't without you. Ace Per Head's betting software is the premier white label platform for bookies to manage their players and grow their sportsbook operation. Click the link in the description below to get set up in minutes. Ask for the Curtis promo and get a special introductory discount. I'm not going to drift too long on this stuff. I'm going to try to hit the keys because really it's about what these keys are going to reveal to us. Now, the coaching keys is really interesting, and it's going to take us a while. We have to be very patient with this. New coach who's never been a head coach before, new staff coming together, new system. Now, boy, he's a long-in-the-tooth guy here, but still, it's got to merge together. And after watching the Patriots game last night, you could see certain things that were popping out as far as the staff being a little awkward because they've added some new pieces. So whatever we see here and whatever I'm going to say, it's got to be with the rabbit ears of patience. Now, the flow of McDaniel's calls. He's not game planning. He's not setting up to take advantage of certain things. He's calling plays based on what he wants to see and the response that he gets to that. But he's also calling in a flow. He's still trying to score. He's still trying to get first downs. And so we'll be able to get a feel of his flow as a play caller. And then as a head coach play caller, how he's able to be the maestro for this whole thing. Again, patience, but this will be a very interesting key. Now, personnel groupings. You have new coaches, new terminology, new system, all this stuff. You got guys coming in and out. You're getting 12 men on the field. You're getting delay of game penalties, things like that, because it's not being smooth. Or if it is smooth, this is another thing to keep your eyes on. It's a very important thing. And then the overall discipline. Say whatever you want about Brian Flores. He had one of the most disciplined teams in the league year in, year out. And it's one of the reasons why we were able to win as many games as we did. And it was one of the main reasons why we were able to beat the Patriots. It's a very tried and true Shula-esque, football-esque, disciplined teams allow other teams to beat themselves. And it's a great formula, tried and true. So we're going to get to see the team discipline. And the look of the run game. We've heard this, we've heard that. We know San Fran, what it looks like. Doesn't mean that's what's going to be here. It's personnel. A good coach has a concept. Then he has to match it to his personnel and create this new thing. So we have a new thing, and we're going to get to see what this new thing is and how the personnel with McDaniel's vision merges together. Just a tidbit. It's going to be a long way before we get that, but we're going to get our first real view. All right, so let's get on to the offense. Tua's not going to be in, and it's good. He's showed it. It really doesn't need to. I don't think, he's going to tune up on that second game, and that's good. And he's earned it. He's showed that this is not something he needs. But we got Teddy and Skylar Thompson. We're going to get a full view of these two. Teddy is not supposed to light the universe up. He's supposed to kind of look like Tyrod Taylor did last night with the Giants. Manage the situation, look like a true vet. He's been here before, and that's really what you want to see. Now, with Skylar, we're hearing all kinds of stuff. People getting amped, people getting excited. Maybe we got our own Brady. Maybe, you don't know. But we've got to be patient. Practices, 11 on 11, 7-7s. It's a totally different animal than even preseason, which is a totally different animal than regular season. Are we going to keep 3 quarterbacks? That's a big deal. I mean, that one extra roster spot in the QB is a big, big deal, guys. I'm not going to go over the whole thing, but when you keep 3 quarterbacks, that constricts a lot of other areas. Now, interesting side note, Patriots are keeping 10 offensive linemen. 10. That is a lot. Looks like we're going to keep about 8. But you've got to cut and shave someplace. And 3 quarterbacks, 1 quarterback who's a rookie, we've never seen in a real NFL game. You don't want 2 quarterbacks, if you get rid of Teddy, and then you're going to the playoffs and you need a win, and Skylar's got to be your guy. This is a big season for us. And to keep 3 quarterbacks, that's a little concerning because you're going to have to cut somewhere else. So it'll be interesting to see how they play, how they do. Got to keep rabbit ears again on this. See Skylar through 3 preseason games. Got to see Teddy, make sure he's not looking like he did in practice. And that would be really good for us. Now, offensive line, that's my thing. That's my jammy, as the young people say. I heard my little son say it's the jammy. Or maybe that's an old saying that's brought back. I don't know. I never said it. Anyway, I love the offensive line. To me, it's so exciting. It sets the table for everything, and I just watch this stuff over and over and over again. And, I've been down on Austin Jackson. Not the guy. I've always said he's a great guy. But his play has been terrible. It was terrible in preseason, and I was showing it in film, and people were like, hey, don't worry, it's only preseason. And he had to follow through with a terrible season. But that's last year, guys. You have to understand, in the NFL, especially for young players, one season to the next, things turn on, lights turn on, and it's hard to understand, but you can really make an about-face, or you could just repeat what's in the past. We don't know. We've been hearing good things. I mentioned it yesterday in my podcast for day 2 of training camp for the Dolphins. Their practice against the Bucs. But we're going to see clear images and video of Jackson. And I know I'm going to know if this guy's taking a step forward. And I'm praying that this is true. Kid's a good kid. You want to see this kid succeed. I mean, not just for yourself, but for this kid, because he was put in a very tough position. And if he could battle his way out and keep his mind, his sanity, after all he went through, and then find his way, good for him, good for us. So I'm hoping that's true. Then Eichenberg, Connor with his snaps, slim down Hunt, getting to see my guy, Teron Armstead. MVP, clearly, if this guy's healthy, he's going to change everything. So I'm going to do a huge amount of film study on each one of these guys, and I'm really excited for that. So these are obviously keys. Now, Robert Jones is another one. I liked him last year. I was wondering why he didn't come in and take a spot last year. Still a little raw. Didn't like him at tackle, but he's been doing well at guard. That's another guy. I almost forgot to mention him. I'm really excited about him. He's been on my radar for a while. Now, Izukanma. Man, I'm bad with this stuff. Anyway, he's going to be one of the receivers I'm going to be looking for. These other guys, Bowden Jr., I'm kind of interested to see what's going on with him. Williams, I'm kind of interested to see what's going on with him. But Easy is definitely, I'm going to get my first real look at him. And so those three guys are going to be paying attention, but Easy is going to be the focus. Tight ends blocking. Now, Shaheen, the trade got nullified and he's back. But if he's not cleared by a physical, he's not going to be here. It looks like he's going to get cut. We're going to get bupkis for him. It is what it is. But we need blocking tight ends. We need tight ends to set the edge, to get to the point of being the guy to spring that wide zone. They're going to be critical blocks for our team, our run game, which is absolutely critical. Despite Hill and Waddle, run game is critical. Going to be keeping my eyes on them. And then Hunt along for everything. 3rd round pick, and we're going serious with him. He's got to earn a roster spot. We can't have all these charity cases on his team and expect to win, because we have a bunch. Going into the season, we have 4 charity cases right now based on draft status. And at least half them, or 3 out of 4, has got to turn a corner. Hunt DeLong is maybe not the most critical, but he's up there. Because it looks like Gesicki might be getting on his way out, and then we're going to have a 3rd round pick that's going to have to step up. So keep your eye on him. Now, defense. Trill Williams has been playing better than Noah. Noah doesn't look so good. And Byron Jones, PUP list, hasn't seen anything. It's getting close where this guy might not be here for week 1. It's still a ways away, but this is a big game. We can't run our defense unless we got 2 corners that are playing top-notch in order to run our zero. And if you watch my study on the Patriots, they're finding receivers that are going to create problems for teams that at least don't have 2 top corners. And the zero is going to be very difficult against them in that week 1 without Byron Jones. So Trill Williams, maybe a miracle at Noah. Jalen Phillips is the guy we root for because of who he is as a person. Had an excellent season last year, but now he's got to become a big piece on 3 downs. The guy's going to do the stuff that we know he can do. He can cover really well for big dude, very agile. He can chase guys down, and he can get after the quarterback. He's got to grow a little bit in his run defense, and that's going to be a major key for me. If we see this guy able to be a 3-down guy, you're going to see his sack total go up without a doubt. And you're going to see the complexity, the look of this defense change with a guy like that on the edge. Now, Tyndale, Duke Riley, these are other guys. I want to see how they're going. Tyndale, I want to see what he looks like on a pro field. I was watching Raekwon McMillan with the Patriots, and as soon as I saw this guy, I knew we had problems. He couldn't read. He was lost. Big dude, obviously didn't have the physical abilities to cover, but you could see right away he was lost in the mental side of the game. Tyndale, you want to make sure that he's got the mental side down, because we know the physical stuff's covered. He can cover, he can run, he can chase. He's physical. Where is he at mentally? And you can see that. You'll see how quickly he responds to play action, how quickly he diagnoses coverage. You're going to see how he takes angles. This is going to be a big deal. And Duke Riley, I really like him. He's him and Scarlett, 2 guys that are a little bit on the outside of a lot of people's radar, but they're real good players for us. They're not going to be superstar all pros, but they fit a big chunk for our, really nebulous kind of linebacking group. It's just a really interesting linebacking group. In some ways, it's really good. In some ways, it's not. Very interesting stuff. So those are my keys. I'm going to be looking for you guys to tell me what you think in the comments that I should be looking at. I missed. I'm really going to pay attention to you guys because I believe in a communal understanding, a communal thought. I believe that the more voices you get, the more information and more perspectives you have and a better chance you have to nail things right. So that's that. And now I'm going to get into the tidbits. Looks like Beal is no longer in the line of succession, and now we got Jennifer Ross taking over for Stephen Ross. I don't know who she is. She could be the most wonderful person in the world. She could be the best owner in the world. I don't know. I'm a little concerned because it just seems like Ross is just going to continue to be here, and I don't think he's a good owner. He can write checks and build buildings and all this other stuff, but when he's continually interfering, getting in the way of coaches that are the professionals on the football level, getting in the way of the GM, making decisions in the background, and then all the while telling us he is not, and having, 12 years or 14 years now of disaster after disaster created by Stephen Ross, it's concerning that he's still going to have his hands on it. Now, I think he wants to win. I just don't think he understands it. Now, maybe his daughter is going to be the kind of person that says, you know what, I'm going to step out, and then I'll let the football people do the football people stuff, and that would be fantastic. I wouldn't care if that's the case, and I hope it is. Pivot. There's a podcast called The Pivot. Really good podcast. Ex-players and all this other stuff. They did Mike Tomlin interview, and they talked about how Tomlin went from talking to Flores and how he went from talking to Flores, talking to the owner, and then hiring Flores. And that's the way it should be done. It is textbook process for a coach and owner, and it's what we really, any organization needs. Go check it out. It's the, like I said, Mike Tomlin, and there's a segment about Flores. And you're gonna, if Jennifer Ross is like this, if she can understand that aspect, then you know what? Stephen Ross could have made the best move ever. But we'll see which direction it goes. Gotta wait. And then there's a Shaheen trade next. I talked about that. Looks like we're gonna get bupkis for him, but in the end, we didn't really pay much for him, too much, and hopefully he can heal and maybe stick to the team and give us a nice blocking tight end, or Hunt along and Smythe could step up their game. Maybe Gesicki, because we really need that blocking tight end. It was kind of like a downer. I'd like to see him get a little 6th-round pick for him. You can get some. Van Ginkel we picked Van Ginkel up, I think, for a 6th or a 5th or 6th. Anyway, so that's what we got here. Tomorrow's a big day for us. Promise to have lots of film studies and coverage, and can't wait, guys. Anyway, this is Kurt saying thanks for staying to the end. Catch you next time. Go Phins. Start building your own online sportsbook today by getting signed up with acebread.com service that'll allow you to book action on sports from all around the world.